On one hand, I want to play more Dead or Alive, but recently you got DDR Extreme. Fuck is DDR Extreme? Is that not even Dance Dance Revolution? Is that Dance Dance Revolution? DDR? It is, right? Dance Dance Revolution is fucking sick. I love Dance Dance Revolution, man. That was the shit. Did I ever tell you guys the story behind my arcade days? I don't know. I'm not sure I told you guys about my history when it comes to the arcades. But yeah, there was this like arcade store. Let me do. There was this arcade store. There was this like cinema, this big movie cinema type of place, which is like further in the city, and underneath that, in the basement section, so you had like the main floor, then you had a second floor and a third floor. It was like a really huge cinema. But underneath the main floor in the basement type of stuff, they had this like huge freaking arcade place. This huge arcade place. Um that's actually where I started to play some of my first fighting games. That's where I started to play some of my first fighting games. There was Street Fighter. There was Street Fighter, there was Tekken, obviously. Tekken 1 arcade machine, guys. Mind blown. Street Fighter. Well, actually, they had three Tekken arcade machines. They had Tekken 1, they had Tekken 2, and they had Tekken 3. Three of them. They had Dance Dance Revolution. They had two Dance Dance Revolution arcade machines, which was fucking awesome. They had Point Blank. Some of you guys remember that shooting game where you have like the gun and you shoot on the screen, Point Blank. They had Point Blank 1, which was also freaking great. They had Rampage. They had Rampage as well. They had Killer Instinct. Fucking Killer Instinct arcade machine. They had of course Time Crisis. Because I even mentioned that in my Time Crisis playthrough. They had Time Crisis. They had Time Crisis 1 and they had Time Crisis 2 there. I was dominating on both of the arcade machines. I had the highest score. Because every time I went to the moves with my parents, they always gave me like around, well, I guess it counts as like 10 coins. So at the start, when I tried out Time Crisis for the first time as a kid, of course I spent all the freaking coins that I had because I died, you know. But through the years of every time we went down there and fucking played on those arcade machines, there was tons of other arcade machines as well. You know, they had the racing games. There was all kinds of shit. Like those arcade machines that I just mentioned is like fucking like 1 to 2% of all the freaking arcade machines that was down there. But you know, it came to, there was a point when it came to Time Crisis 1 and 2 where I only needed 1 coin. I only needed 1 coin to play Time Crisis 1 and Time Crisis 2. 1 coin for each arcade machine. And it was not 1 coin for, oh shit, I died, let me get my second chance. No, it was the coin just to play the game, you know. It was just 1 coin to put in there, and it goes Time Crisis, and you start the game. That's it. I never got hit, I never died or anything like that, because I played the game so many times that I knew exactly when the enemies was gonna spawn. I knew exactly where they were gonna spawn. I knew exactly the whole routine, the bosses had in Time Crisis 1 and 2. So that made it, because I'm fucking nerd the shit out of the game. So that makes it a lot easier to go through the game if I already knew everything that was gonna happen at specific points and moments. So that was sick. That was really sick. So I had the highest score on both of the machines. But throughout the years, they have changed up the whole cinema place. The whole cinema place. There was one time where I went down the basement, And I remember it was with my ex. Not the latest ex-girlfriend that I've had, but the ex-girlfriend I had about 7, 8, 9 years ago, or some shit like that. And I remember that she have never ever, because first of all, she didn't live in my country. That's the first thing. She came to my country here in Denmark. She came to Denmark, but she wasn't from Denmark. So I was showing her around in Copenhagen and all that stuff. I was just showing her around. I was like, oh my god, of course I'm gonna show my girlfriend that just moved to Denmark. Of course I'm gonna show her the arcade place. This is where history were made. And I went down the basement with her. You know, that sounds so wrong. But I went down to show her, and I was like, embrace it, ta-da! You know, I was like that, like, here you go, embrace my childhood. This is where I became a fighting gamer. This is where I achieved all of my powers and skills and became a fucking nerd at video games. Right there. Right in there. And then she went like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? Don't you see the arcade? Where the fuck is the arcade? When I turned around, the room was half empty. The room was half empty. And there was like these construction workers that was like lifting these arcade machines out, and they were like taking them out and, you know, packing them up and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And they said, well, apparently, because that was the day where arcades kind of died out, you know, the dark era of the FGC, and majority of like arcade games, arcade machines, like throughout the world. Of course, Japan still has like a lot of like arcade machine places and stuff. But yeah, that was like the dark ages of the FGC, as some people call it. So they were like, yeah, you know, they're packing it up. Not a lot of people come here anymore. I was one of those few people that showed up. But I remember when I was a kid, that place was stacked up. Like, but you know, the older I got, the less people started to, you know, the less people showed up at that place. So that was, yeah. So since they felt like that they were wasting money having all these like arcade machines turned on, and, you know, not being able to get as much money as they did back in the days, because people were just popping coins in all day long at that time, but not anymore. So they got rid of it because they felt like they were losing money on it. So I was saying, and you can imagine me standing there with my ex, and I'm just like, it's like I made this like huge fucking build up. It's like a snowball. Like, you're just snowballing. Like, here it comes. This is the place where I was. You know, it was like, this is the place that molded me. You know, it was really like, oh, you think arcade machines is your allies, but you merely adopted the arcades. I was born in it, molded by it. You know, it was real like Bane. And then when you go there, like, ta, just show the whole place. Nothing's there. That shit sucked. That was like one of the worst days of my entire life. Damn. Yeah, that was fucked up. That was one of my worst days. Just walking into just walking down them stairs, turn left, and look at nothing. And just look at nothing. That was so sad. But hey, I guess it was, you know, to be honest, man, I guess it was better that way. I guess it was really better that way. It was the same thing when it comes to the green arcades of Tekken, man. The green arcades of Tekken, there was a lot of people that were like crying about, like, oh, the green arcades just shut down. Oh no, look at these trophies. They're throwing all the trophies out. Oh, it's so sad. No, rest in peace, green arcades. And you know, I was one of those Tekken people back in Tech 2 that also grew up with green arcade, like many Tekken players did. You know, We grew up with green arcades. We were either there, or if you were not being able, if you couldn't show up, because of course it's in fucking Korea. But if you are like outside of Korea, you know, anywhere in the world, you were just watching their the green arcade live streams. But what I think is more sad, what I think is more crushing than green arcades shutting down last year, was that nobody was there. I think that's the soul crushing part. I don't think the soul crushing part of an arcade shutting down is the soul crushing part. I think the soul crushing part is that you are running an arcade and you go in there and there's no one. There's like there you know, there's no human being in that arcade place. I think that's the soul crushing defeat. Not them shutting down or anything like that, but you being the only one showing up. There's literally no one else, and you just standing there minding your own business, playing all the arcades because all of them are free. I think that's the soul crushing part. And I had that for a couple of years when it came to my arcade place. Of course, there was still some people that showed up, like I said, but compared to like when I was a child, when I tried out Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3 for the very first time as a kid, you know, yeah, that the arcade place was stacked up, man. It was like huge, like it was stacked up, and it was huge as well. So of course it was stacked up. A lot of people could be in there, but even the fact that there could be so many people in there because it was a huge fucking arcade, you know, it's just wow. You know, it was like when I got older and I walked in there, it was like a fucking ghost town. It was like I was in Silent Hill, man. I was just waiting for the fucking sirens to start. At any moment, I'm standing there playing fucking Dragon's Lair, Dragon's Lair in the arcade, going like boop, boop, use my sword, go left, and then suddenly I hear, like, I was waiting for that shit. I was literally waiting for that shit, but it never happened. So I guess it wasn't Silent Hill, but it was sure as hell like Silent Hill. I was the only one with a little bunch of other people, but yeah, it was very, very dark and lonely times at some point. So I guess it had to shut down. One, you know, it had to happen. It had to happen eventually. So I know for dang well when I move out, I'm letting you guys know right now. When I move out, when I get like a better job, because keep in mind YouTube and Twitch is my part-time job and it helps me pay the bills. This is something I take very seriously, and I thank people for supporting me this much when it comes to my YouTube and Twitch, that I'm able to pay the bills for it. But I'm also looking for another job besides that. And when I get that, you know, and I have like a really good income to move out and stuff, I'm buying arcades. Wherever I'm moving to, I'm gonna have arcades. I'm gonna have Tekken arcades. I'm gonna have Time Crisis arcades, Dance Revolution, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all kinds of arcades. And the coolest part is that you have people like Capcom and NetherRealm Games that are actually still selling like arcade machines to this day today. You kind of see sometimes if there's like a Capcom Pro Tour going on, or like a Mortal Kombat World Tour or whatever they fucking call it. You know, they kind of advertise sometimes with their arcade machines, like, oh, you know, you can buy this Capcom arcade machine that has tons of like Capcom arcade, Street Fighter, and you name it, like on it. Yeah, I'm getting myself one of those. Definitely, man. Same thing. Yeah, I'm getting my hands on those, and they're just gonna stand there in the house or the apartment. And then, you know, and when people walk in, when people are gonna walk in, they're just gonna see like this hole, this legendary hole, just arcades, man, all kinds of shit. Man, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. The arcades might be dying, but they ain't gonna be dying in my house. That's for damn sure.